Hey guys, and welcome to this episode of Daily Drive. I've got my best mate, Ricky Baldasso, here in the car.
Yo, how you all doing?
So today we're going to be talking about, in our daily drive, the one thing that we can do to eliminate stress and enjoy what we do more often in our life. And that is to come from the heart, guys, to come from the heart. Because the thing is, there's this dynamic, and you know, if you're in personal development, or you like, obviously if you're watching this, you like developing yourself. But if you're into growing, and especially if you're into coaching, a lot of our clients are coaches, you know, the number one thing that can enable you to grow faster, be your best, achieve more, is your ability to come from the heart. And that's to connect to an authentic place, which is the best version of yourself. And the reason that I thought it'd be great to talk with Ricky in the car today, we're on our way right before doing our boss session, which we do every week, where we get in a peak state and plan out the day and have a epic session, just centering ourselves, focusing ourselves, overcoming anything that's holding us back, and just getting clear on what we need to do for the next week. And we force each other to raise our standards, which is awesome. And you know, it's just a generally good, positive thing to do on a weekly basis, every week, really consistently. But one thing that Ricky possesses, and now, he probably doesn't know this, but I always boast about Ricky for this reason. I actually did last week when we were away, is Ricky's someone that always comes from the heart. Always comes from the heart. And what that means is, you know, ego is something that can come up and creep in so often in the most subtle ways, but the impact that has on you is just so phenomenal. And like, I'll give you an example. So just say you're hanging around with some friends and their guys. Almost hit some people here right now, and I got someone absolutely beaming up my ass right now. So just remain focused. Yeah, so let's say you're going and hanging out with some friends, and your friends start, you know, some playful banter, you know, but it gets a little bit, you start talking shit. And this happens with guys and girls when we're not being our best, but you start kind of talking about some friends and, you know, not feeling too good about yourself, so you start talking about other people and bringing them down. Now, that's an instant little example or a snippet of coming from the ego. But the problem with coming from the ego is it creates stress. It creates stress. If you come from that place where you're not coming from that authentic self, and you're coming from that place of judgment, fear, negativity, all of those elements of yourself that you wish you didn't have, or the worst version of yourself, that creates stress because you put so much thought and you're stuck so much in your head as opposed to your heart. It's when you start to get headaches. It's when you start to feel drained, tired, overwhelmed, uncertain, and all those things come up because you're being a lesser version of yourself. And so, you know, we're here right now connecting back to our heart. We're going to do our boss session, get some quick food, and head back to the office before we've got to run 2 webinars tonight. Also, massive win for today. I got this sent through from Coaching Life, which is an amazing magazine, by the way. Got a cool feature article in here. That page, which is really cool. And this one where I wrote an article about how to achieve any goal guaranteed, which was awesome. But Stuart, the guy that created this magazine, is an amazing guy because his mission is to bring coaching into the mainstream, which is very, very difficult to do. So he's created a magazine on it. And you know, so if you're in Australia and you could benefit, you know, obviously you could benefit from this magazine, but more importantly, help bring coaching into the mainstream, go to your local newsagents and pick up one of those copies, because it's a phenomenal magazine, number one, and Stuart's doing an amazing service here to try to help bring coaching out there and personal development to more people, which is awesome. That was cool. Just a random fun fact for you there. But back to that coming from the heart. How can you connect more to your heart? Well, there's a few things that I can mention that will really help, but it really is a way of life. It really is a way of life. And you know, coming from the heart is, you know, I have 3 qualities that I recommend that people do their best to endeavor to have as their personality traits and as habits in their life. 1 is coming from the heart, 2 is being open-minded, and 3 is taking personal responsibility or coming from cause for every single thing that happens in your entire life. And coming from the heart is probably one of the most important things there. And you know, it's a muscle. It's something that needs to be developed. You can always catch yourself coming from the ego, but it's not about whether you never ever come from the ego. It's about when you do come from the ego, catching it, calling yourself out, and just being on top of it, so you can say, look, you know, I literally had one of our team call me out today and say, Ryan, you come from the ego right now. And I was like, fuck, you know what, you're completely right. And yeah, I will stop that. I'll start coming from the heart. Because it happens all the time. It's not about about being absolutely perfect and never doing it. It's about building that muscle all the time. And when you do something that's ego focused, snap back into it and come from the heart. And so a few things that you can do to help with that more often is to connect back to your why. I know that if you looked at the very best version of yourself, the absolute leader, the role model in your head that you want other people to see you as, you want your kids or your future kids to see you as, you want your friends and your clients and all the people close to you that you care about to see you as, that version is always coming from the best version of themselves. That version connects and wants to help other people, is always being genuine, is always putting, other people ahead of themselves in the sense that they'll never try to drag someone else down. And so my tip for you guys is make sure that you're connecting to your why and the purpose and the people that you care about the most, because they're the ones, when you become more conscious of it as opposed to neglecting and shutting those responsibilities of being a role model out, you start to come to terms with who you need to be more often, and it forces you to come from the heart. So that's my stretch for you guys, to start to become more conscious of who's counting on you at this point, and just be the best version of yourself. Come from the heart as much as possible, from that loving, amazing, beautiful place. And Ricky is an absolute boss at it. He always lifts me up. It's one thing that he has. He always remains true to his values, to himself. Ricky's partner is my sister. And I would 100% grateful for that, because he legitimately does come from the heart, and he looks after her amazingly well because he cares. He comes from the heart. He's the best version of himself. So that's my tip for you guys. It may seem weak, but it's actually strong. It may seem, a little bit goofy if you care about ego and appearance and worrying about what other people think. But if you're being the best version of yourself, all you care about is being a better role model and a better person for others. And that's the best version of you. That's the heart-centered version of you. So do that more. So that's it for the daily drive today, guys. We're going to go get some food. You have an amazing day, an amazing night. Love you all. Peace out. I'm going to say goodbye.
See you later.